Hello, guys. Good morning to you all. I hope you all are doing fine. It's Saturday again, and it's my trade recap for the week that just ended. So let's quickly jump into it. Here is my XAUUSD chart, my 4-hour chart, which is gold chart. So what happened on this day? So if you remember very well, I definitely showed you guys this update on this gold trade that hit take profit. So what happened after marking the high of the week? For the week on Monday when it opened, I want to zoom in so you can clearly see. So, what did I see? What did I see? I saw, like I told you on the previous post previously about the gold buyers, the buy buyers, that it was forming a market structure. So that definitely was what happened on gold. So what happened on this day after marking the high of the week? That was on Monday. That was on Monday. We saw that price eventually just did some little bit of consolidation. Then what happened from the 4-hour time frame? We saw a break above this level. We saw a break above this high and created a new high. So what I was anticipating from the chart, you can clearly see from the buy chart, I definitely was anticipating a buy. I definitely was anticipating a buy for market to eventually complete and still forming market structure. I was anticipating for market to keep forming market structure. That's why you can see there is a buy to around this level. There is a buy to around this level because I wanted the market. Definitely, the market was creating higher highs and higher lows. So I definitely anticipated for the higher low to hold on to this level because here was the recent high looking left by price until price broke above it. So on this level from here, you can see the buy two. You can see the buy two from this level. From the 4-hour time frame, the stop loss was below this high that price came to looking like. So you can see the stop loss was below it. So let's jump into the intermediate time frame. Let's jump into the intermediate time frame. You can see it's clearly making sense. It's making sense on the intermediate time frame. So from the intermediate time frame, you can clearly see that we're expecting a buy, or you can see from this level that price eventually retested this high looking left. You saw price eventually reject off this level. So what did we see? We saw price retest the high of the week. We saw price retest the high of the week. So you can clearly see when price got to this level, then it pushed back up. Then what did we see? Market failed to create a new high. We're expecting to see market create a new high when market retested this level, but what did we see? Price failed to create a new high. So in other words, price then broke below the low of the week. So price broke below of the low of the week. So because why definitely let me fall down to the 4-hour again so you can grasp exactly so you can understand. So gold has been trading on all-time high. Gold has been trading on all-time high. Market has been creating higher highs and higher lows, which I've already illustrated and explained in my previous video and post. So you can go watch that to fully grasp what gold was doing. So on this day, because price then created a new high, so I was expecting or I was anticipating for market to retest the high that price tested looking left. So as you can clearly see, the two when price retested this high of the week, I definitely saw that as a buy opportunity to go in for a gold because market was going to create a higher high. So I was then telling myself that I need to see price create higher highs. What we expected, market created a new high, then market retested the high that price created looking left. And then what I was anticipating from here definitely was the buy entry opportunity. Here was the buy entry on my 15 minutes. Here was the buy entry time frame. Here was the entry position on my 15 minutes. So I'm using 1 hour to highlight being my intermediate. What really happened? So from this level here, definitely ought to be the first entry position. When price retested this high of the week, that's the high looking left, I was expecting at least market to create new high, meaning I was expecting to see price since market retested all this level. I was expecting to see price create a new high, then a retest on this high looking left, then a continuation of a new high being formed if the market structure was going to hold. If the market structure was going to hold. So this is definitely what I was anticipating for market to eventually create a new high. But what did we see? we saw price eventually failing to create a new high, and that eventually stopped out the entry position that I saw on gold. So that was definitely what happened on gold. Let me forward down to the 15 minutes so you clearly see how it's all played out. So as you can clearly see, like I said, from this level, when price tested this level of the high of the week and the high looking left, the previous high looking left, I definitely saw this as an entry position to go in for a buy on gold. So what happened? Market failed to create a new high. Market failed to create a new high, but we saw that market created a new low. So that was literally what happened on gold for the week that just ended. So on the other trade, on the other pair, I made mention about GBP JPY. I saw a set opportunity on GBP JPY. I said I saw a sell opportunity on GBP JPY. You can go watch the previous post. So it took the whole day, or rather the whole week, for market to eventually go to our direction. So if you remember from the first time I saw this sell opportunity on GBPJPY, I said I was going to position for a sell once I see price retests this psychological level here at 212000. I said definitely that should be the entry position. That should be the entry position that I'm going to go in for a sell. And if I'm to highlight it, you can clearly see here should be the first entry position to go in for a sell. Here should be the first entry position to go in for a sell. And definitely here should be the second entry to go in for a sell trade on GBPJPY. Here should be the second entry. So falling down to my 1 hour being the intermediate time frame. So you can clearly see these two levels. These are the two entry positions. These are the two entry positions on GBP JPY. You can clearly see how it played out. You can clearly see. From the day I definitely called this bias or mentioned it, price eventually never triggered this psychological level 212.00. Price never triggered it because I was waiting for this for price to trigger this level. I was waiting on this level because I found my conferences. Around this level, I have the psychological level, then going to act as resistance to push the market to the downside. Then I have the high of the week, which also is definitely acting as a resistance to drive the market to the downside. So that was definitely what happened. That was why I said I was waiting to enter at this level here. But from that day I mentioned it, price never triggered this level. Price just went ahead and then got to TP from that day. Price got to TP from that day. Then we saw again that price eventually got back, did some consolidation, and what happened? Price eventually pushed back to the entry position I was anticipating, which was this level here, as you can clearly see. So this was the first entry position, and then this was definitely the second entry position. When price definitely came back to the same level, that was the entry position. So that was what happened on GBPJPY, and I want you two guys to understand something. It is fine to definitely not trade, because also not trading or entering a position is also a way of preserving your capital as well. It's also okay. You don't need to beat yourself up because maybe your price left you, your trade played out the way you anticipated. You just have to relax. The market has already closed. There is always a trading opportunity from Monday to Friday. If you do trade the currency pairs, there's always a trading opportunity. So there is no need to beat yourself up because maybe you missed your entry position or your trade, your position, your analysis played out just the way you want. All you need to do is to recoup, is to do your analysis, then wait for the new trading week because there is always opportunity to make money, and at the same time there's always opportunity to lose money as well. So you just have to stick to what works for you. And for me, this is clearly how I trade. This is how I analyze. I first mark out my levels. Then I have to wait for price to then react off those levels. And once price reveal itself on what it intends to do based on price action, I then execute my trade without fear, without panic, and that is how I literally trade. So if you do love how I analyze my pairs, if you do love how I trade, If you want me to create more of my bias, my content bias, if you do want me to show you guys and keep building and keep showing, documenting my journey on how I trade and analyze, I want you to hit the subscribe button, like for more.